Titans and Nebulans! This is internet personality Vangelus, and the new Transformers Generations line-wide gimmick is also the second chapter of the Prime Wars Trilogy. Titans' return is all over the place, and since there is another shared gimmick going on, I want to try to open up by focusing on the specifics of that first and foremost. What am I talking about? Titanmasters. What are they? Basically headmasters. Just roll with it. Titanmasters are smaller than your average first-year G1 headmaster, and for the most part, they all share one basic silhouette. Their sculpts have packed in some really impressive detail for their tiny size, but they all also have a giant upside-down robot face for a backpack. Absolutely zero clever hiding methods here, folks. The silver lining of the faces all being a single piece of plastic is that retools have proven super easy, and fan-made faces are already a reality thanks to folks like Shapeways artist and B-Mog conspirator Trent Troop. Any given Titanmaster has got several points of articulation, thankfully. There's a ball socket neck that allows for the barest bit of tilt in most directions. Ball socket shoulders usually provide a handful of degrees of outward motion in addition to forward and backward swivel, giving a touch of extra life to the look of these little guys. There are also hip and knee hinges, but sadly the legs are fused into one piece. It's a damn shame, as separate legs would have allowed for some real fun and comical running poses, or even Charlie Brown-style punting poses. One main reason for the mono leg is the pin that goes right through both knees, which admittedly must help with the build quality at such a small size. The other reason, though, is the tab on the heel area of the back of the leg stump. That tab, the two rectangular slots above it, and the two small holes on the bottom of the feet are all ways by which the Titanmasters can interact with the rest of the line playset style. The foot peg gimmick is the easiest one to spot, and the pegs are so small that sometimes they work like magic, and sometimes they work like a very small thin peg that can't quite handle what it's supposed to do. The heel tab and calf slots are more so used for seating, be it in a vehicle cockpit, or one of the many weapons that leave space for a gunner to help take aim. But these guys do turn into heads. They all transform the same way, some add a pop-up antenna on occasion, and they're all interchangeable with any Deluxe, Voyager, or even Leader class figure from the line. That means a universal neck socket. It's meant to clip onto the smaller Titanmaster head, specifically gripping onto divots on either side of the base of the skull. And the implementation hasn't been as smooth as Combiner Wars Combiner Peg 2 waves in. Many figures work fine, but there have been large variances reported across the board as far as the parts tolerances are concerned. And then there are weird edge cases where some heads fit some bodies better with the smaller head rotated 180 degrees, or the extremely strange situation of the head fitting better with the smaller head rotated 90 degrees. And then there are folks like poor Scourge, whose entire neck connector piece rattles around and doesn't grip on very solidly, at least in most reported cases. Basically, this is a stronger and more varied play pattern than Combiner Wars, but it isn't nearly as solid in its engineering out of the gate. Combiner Wars needed its combiner pegs to work, and they did, immediately, really well. The large gradient of head connection quality reported in the first wave of Titan's return was a big disappointment to read about. Thank goodness there seem to have been some running changes since that first shipment. Like, my Canadian Wave 1 toys all seem to be a lot more solid than many of the American first shipment Wave 1 toys. But even Wave 2 has got the weirdness of Highbrow's neck socket, still leaving that part of the gimmick rather unconfident to deal with as of this recording. Here's hoping that things continue to improve as the line goes on, because while I personally prefer combiners as a thing to do with robot toys, it has been incredibly fun to have little pilots for all my alt modes, and the additional factor of operable turrets and mini-vehicles being literally everywhere has solidified my enjoyment of the play pattern. Not to mention the Leader and Supreme toys being straight up bases for the little guys, and like, participating in the line-wide gimmick this time. Absolutely, a line where everybody's a headmaster won't jive with all of you, but the designs of the toys have embraced it with such gusto, I find myself quite won over. By the way, there are other line-wide gimmicks in Titan's Return, like all Voyagers having 2 vehicle modes and all Leaders having an alt mode and a base mode, but that stuff's far more specific to a given figure at any given time. This video is just about the Titanmasters, and it's also just about done. So this has been internet personality Vangelus, and those are some Wave 1, Wave 2 thoughts on the Titanmaster gimmick of Titan's Return. Within the first 2 waves, they've done the G1 Headmaster characters I consider to be absolutely essential, so I'm looking forward to kooky wacko stuff for the next year or so. As far as I'm concerned, they can do whatever they want. Hot Rod, Twinferno, whatever. I've already got my original 7 headmasters. Once I find a Walgreens brainstorm.